All right, guys, today we're going to learn about Henri Matisse. He was born in 1869 in France and he died in 1954. He grew up in the northern part of France. His father was very strict. He went to Paris to study law and he passed the bar in 1888 when he was 19. He took a job as a law clerk. In 1889, he came down with appendicitis, so his mother gave him an art set to give him something to do, and he fell in love with painting and art and decided to become an artist. His father was very disappointed. He spent a year at an art academy, but left to study under the artist Gustave Moreau, where he could study more modern styles of painting. So Matisse painted his first masterpiece in 1897 called The Dinner Table. He was influenced by many artists, including Van Gogh and Cézanne. In the early 1900s, Matisse developed a new style. He began to paint with bright colors that were freely applied. He used the colors to express emotion, often using colors that had nothing to do with the natural colors of the subject. You can see in this that that's not her natural face color. In the 1905 Matisse painting Woman with a Hat, you can see that applied in this. He used bright and unnatural colors, and at first Matisse was criticized, but then a major art collector purchased his painting, giving Matisse confidence. And so in 1905, with fellow artists, they exhibited their new style to the world. One critic called them fauves, which meant wild beasts, and the name stuck, and their style of art was called fauvism. This is the Red Studio. It was painted in 1911. And the painting of his art studio and the paintings on the wall were his most recent paintings of the time. And I love this one because it shows he's painting pictures of his paintings. So in 1941, Matisse developed cancer and a nurse was brought in to help him. The nurse later became a nun and asked him if he would help design a chapel near where she was stationed as a nun. And Matisse agreed, even though he had never done anything like this. He was 77 when he began this project, and he spent 4 years working on the chapel. Its architecture, stained glass windows, interior furnishings, murals, and more. And these are pictures of the insides of the chapel, where you can see the gorgeous stained glass and then some of his artwork up on the walls. Later in his life, Matisse experimented with cutouts. He would cut out colored paper that had been painted and make collages. He even released a book of these cutouts called Jazz. And here are some of his cutouts in a gallery. He was good friends with Pablo Picasso, although they later became rivals. Some of his paintings have sold for over $20 million. And here is one of my favorite cutouts of his. All right, guys, so for the Henri Matisse art project, we need construction paper, scissors, pencil, and a glue stick. So I'm going to set those aside right now. And I'm going to teach you some vocab words here. So the construction paper that we're going to pick for this is complementary colors. So what a complementary color is the color that's opposite each other on a color wheel. So orange and blue are exactly opposite each other on a color wheel. Other complementary colors are red and green. And then the last two complementary colors are yellow and purple. So on a color wheel, it goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So your color wheel would look like this, with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So red and green being across from each other, purple and yellow being across from each other, and then blue and orange, which are the two colors I'm going to use today. So we're going to take these and we're going to stack them on top of each other, and then I am going to cut my paper in half. And it's okay if it's not exact, as long as your two opposite papers match up. So right now I'm going to set one set aside, and I am going to take one of my colors I'm going to fold it in half. And I am going to cut it in half. All right. So now I am going to fold this piece in half and this piece in half. And I'm going to draw two designs. So the first design I'm going to draw is a curvy design. So I want all of my lines to curve. I don't want them to be sharp or straight. And what we're making are organic shapes. And organic shapes are shapes that are irregular or asymmetrical, and they tend to have a curvy flow to them. So as you can see, I started on the folded part, and I drew a curvy shape, and I ended on the folded part. And this is what you want, is you want your shape to start on the folded part and end on the folded part, and have one continuous curvy line. So after I've done that, I'm going to cut it out, starting on the folded line, all the way around and ending on the folded line. Now you want to be really careful because we're actually going to use both parts of this, and we don't want any rips or tears in it. We want to start right in the middle. So I'm going to start right here on this folded part with my piece. Okay, so now I should have my organic shape. And then I have this, and see how it just is still one piece of paper. There's no cuts in it. It just has a cut in the middle of it. So I'm going to teach you now about positive and negative space. So positive space is the actual shape of something that you drew, and the negative space is the space around it. So this is the negative space. Now we are going to glue. So I have this paper, and I am going to glue this down on one half of it. A little bubble, and then I'm going to glue this one down on the other half. Oh, let's make it match. All right, there we go. So we've got our matching shapes with our positive and negative spaces and our organic shapes in our complementary colors. And now, if you want, we can do another one with our second piece of paper, and this one we can draw a straight line design. So the last one was curvy. So this one, remember, we'll start on one end, and we can just make this one all straight lines and kind of crazy. And I've got my two shapes again. It looks like a crazy something, ninja guy or something, monster, something that superheroes need to attack and battle. Glue that down. Glue this one down. And there's our second one. All right, lots of fun you can have with that.